not too long ago, we did talk about the Jade Stars nerf. That is going to happen this week. Jade Stars going forward will have an item slot check. We already talked about that in legit, which I think everybody's kind of sort of fine with that. But what I wanted to remind you all is that this will also come together with a buff for Series and Orion. To be more precise, Chaos Fourth ability will now force Pro Heat or Slash respectively of which of the brothers is currently scoring hit while losing your ultimate ability.
to 2028. Don't really understand why anyone seems to think that Secret Wars is getting delayed to 2028. Because they haven't started shooting it. Comes out next Christmas.
This week in Warframer, we have our weekly reset, so yeah, let's go over everything. This week in Warframer, we have our weekly reset. I'll make a quick reminder video on 2x, like, favorite leveling spots that people like, things like that, fast, best leveling spots, etc. and so forth, but made a lot of those before. Maybe I'll make one for next weekend, though, and then pop that up on, like, Thursday, but double Affinity Weekend every single weekend of August. We also have a new Nightwave next week. Alerts every week with the double Affinity Weekends. New primes in Resurgence, so it's been a busy week. But if you remember, new Nightwave, 2 days, 14 hours as the time of recording this video. So your Shockwave's gonna be the new Nightwave, right? It's pretty cool. Not bad, right? Right? No, maybe you just don't care. Who knows? We have the blue Tau Forge or non-Archon shard, so that's not too shabby. And, oh yeah, 14 more hours for this event Affinity Weekend. So, if you want to boost up your levels or farm up Warframe weapons, anything like that, go for it. 2 times Affinity, 4 times Affinity, if you have another booster like this Affinity booster, which then turns to 5x Affinity if you have like a Mastery Rank 30 relay boost. And then you can get even higher boosts with like Smeeded Kavad, things like Stealth Affinity boost, and there's like either more mods or Warframe abilities here and there that can give you more affinity. Certain things, you know, but either way, that's what you can get up to if you feel like it. You don't have to though. Either way, go farm up your Archon. If we take a look at Incarnans, we can see we are at Xylock, Sibir, Dread, Despair, and Hate Incarnan. Stalker Incarnan week. Xylock's a strong one because it turns into a forward kind of AoE heat shot. Don't love it, don't hate it, but it's cool. Sibir Incarnan, create an AoE Cold Blast radius, Heavy Slam, good damage, also they're all good actually, so it just depends kind of what you're looking for, because this was really liked for slam builds and just in general for a lot of people here and there. You can get good boosts after all, no matter for melees. Dread Incarnan's probably... Dread and Despair my least favorite, but Dread Incarnan's interesting, but I just hate bows, because it's like more heat damage, projectile size, but it's not an Adaruk. Despair Incarnan similarly, just kind of whatever, because it's a Despair. Heat damage, embedding projectiles, they explode, but more damage, but just not enough, right? So, I don't love these. Hate Incarnan's actually my favorite. I already use the Hate melee weapon a lot, and then it just turns into a forward attack, kind of like a Excalibur weapon. You know how his Exalted Blade throws a forward-facing attack? Similar, except heat, and it gains way more damage. I like the Hate Incarnan. My personal would probably be Hate and Xylock, Sibir Dread, and then Despair as like the final third rotation, but totally up to you and depending on what you like, of course. Lastly, I have Riven Mod, Pistol Riven Mod, Melee Riven Mod, or Kuva. Pick whatever you want out of there. And yeah, daily remember to support your boy, sub, like, use Epic Games Creator Code Pubsker to support the channel, check out any socials. I gotta get back to making regularly scheduled video guides because I've been really lazy this year, so that's my bad. So if there's any guides you want, let me know. I'm gonna probably this week begin off with how to farm Warframes and weapons for free type video, and then we'll go off next week into a casual affinity farming leveling video, so yeah, hopefully it helps. If not, that's okay too. A lot of Warframe guides, beginner guides to always remake and make, so hopefully that'll help. If we take a look at the origin system, the circuit, We have Mesa, Chroma, and Atlas. I believe that's actually kind of a huge pain in the ass, and I'll talk about why in a second. Mainly because I think Chroma is just a lot of parts to farm, right? Like different Warframes. Let's take a look. So Mesa, she is Mutalist Assassin V, Mutalist Alad V, Assassin Era, Assassination, okay. Patient 0, Mutalist Alad V coordinates that you have to farm from infested invasions. Okay, I wasn't sure. I think I misquoted one of the Alad V's last time doing that, but no, it looks like that's with Mesa, so she actually can be a bit of a pain in the ass, probably one of the ones you want to farm from here. Chroma, though, is all over the place, right? New Strange, Neuroptics Uranus Junction, Chassis Neptune, Pluto Junction Systems. Okay, yeah, no, never mind, I lied. Chroma's not bad. Not actually terrible. Is it terrible to build? Nope. So Chroma you should probably get pretty naturally as well, so might not need to actually grab him here. It's always been a while. Atlas on the other end. Is Atlas still just like Jorda's Golem type of thing? Let me see. Jorda's Golem Assassination Eris. Okay. Well, I must say, you do have to do Jorda's Precept quest. None of these are too terrible other than Mesa, so I would probably only recommend farming her from the circuit. And then if you farm Chroma or Atlas, go for it if you just don't have them, or you need an extra one for the Helmets, right? That's not too terrible whatsoever, if I do say so myself, so good job, Warframe. Now, let's take a look at Nightwave. Again, 2 days left, so spend your shit or forever hold your credits and be sad. You can sell these credits in your inventory for regular Warframe credits. You know, Nora credits into regular credits, 5,000 per. This is not good. Do your weeklies, kill 500 enemies, do 15 missions, and 30 XMS units. Unlock 10 relics, cool weekly. Destroy 3 Necromech Vault Guardians, easy. Complete 1 sortie, feed the Helmet Thinning resource. Place a decoration, kill 3 drones or ospreys with your melee weapon, and then kill 150 enemies with blast damage. Now, none of these are too terrible, so congratulations everybody. They shouldn't actually take too long to farm. If you need to finish Nightwave, you do have 2 days and 14 hours. All of your Nightwave weeklies stack up, so you, in theory, could get Nightwave, even if you're level 0, done in 1 day right now. Get on it if you care, and if you don't, that's okay too. We have credit offerings, 1 by 1, all the mods decent enough if you get them, need them, etc. Quick Delegation, Critical Precision, Deceptive Bond, Dizzying Rounds, Loot Detector, Shrapnel Rounds, a volatile variant, grab that. Power of 3, yeah, recharge barrier, rifle amp, and shield disruption. Anything you need, grab from here. Appearance tab, random cosmetics, weapons, Warframe helmets, as always, and they do all look pretty cool. So, yeah. We have Organ Reactor, Organ Catalyst, Methane, Kuba, Gamma. Oh, Gamma, yeah, definitely grab that. Usual stuff, Saturn 6, Enter Nihil's Obulet. Grab a lot of those if you actually want to farm Nihil's Obulet. I don't think there's a huge reason to, though. Maybe you get a ribbon, actually. Not super worth, though, but still kind of cool. And then some decorations, Noggle, Nihil's Obulet, you know, that's what you use this with, right? Blaze, Key, Unlock Lost Treasures, so if you need to do that, Vitrica, right, all that jazz, probably already done it. In it, but if you have not, right, go for it again. Yay. That's all the cool shit you get out of Nightwave right now, so spend your credits. You got 1 more week. Well, not a full week, right? You got 2 days and 14 hours, so thanks, Nightwave. Back over into Descendia, right? I hit the button. Crap, I hit the wrong button.
I went to my local CVS to grab a brand new journal, and I even picked up some photo prints. Junk journaling is essentially grabbing any items that you would normally throw away, or even just random things you have around the house, and adding them to your journal. The best part is that there's really no rules. It's just a fun way to be creative and resourceful at the same time. I just used some random items I found in my house, and this is what I came up with. Don't forget to save this video as inspo for your junk journal.
Thunderbolt Hall lightning has killed grown men in 1 strike. I caught it with my bare hand, and I have no idea how. 24 hours ago, I was a dead beast cripple everyone called a predator. Today, the rules of this world just broke in front of 1,000 people. My arm moved on its own. There are black scales spreading under the cloth, a crimson eye in my palm I never asked for, and the prince who killed my beast is standing 10 feet away watching it happen. It all started 3 years ago, when I was just a boy sliding a hairpin into the chemistry. I slide the jade hairpin into Lydia's hair and give her cheek a little pinch. She's smiling. She's undressing.
Jasper.
Descendia, right? I hit the button. Crap, I hit the wrong button. Yeah. Descendia normal mode has pretty regular loot, nothing huge. You want to grab anything here, like go for it? Oh, but it does have an amp arcane adapter at the end. Probably not super needed because like amps, but still nice if you need it. Rifle ribbon mod in the front of Steel Path. Continue on. Primary arcane adapter, not bad. It's easy to get, but still. And then some Steel Essence and hell yeah, Amber Archon Shard. Might not be the worst, but might not be the best. I'll still take it. I always like to rather obviously get melee arcane adapters because they're a little bit more effort to farm up. Primary and secondary are just from like Teshin for Steel Essence, but oh well. It is what it is, and that's Descendia this week. We take a look at Warframe at 1999. Kill 150 enemies with abilities. Simple, choose a Warframe. Birthday of Owie. Oh, hell yeah. Violet Archon Shard. I would pick that for sure. Thick Skin for armor. Overshield caps. Kills Grand Shield. Grab that one, I'd recommend. And then Toxic Shot. Not too shabby. Kill 100 tech raw with melee weapons. As well as Exil's Warframe adapter at the end there. Fuck yeah, that's pretty good. But that's just week one. Grab what you need. The second, well, I want to say week one. I guess it's a month. Month 1, July, and then August. Hey, it's actually August this month, too. We hit double summer, baby. Yeah, you know, it's not that rare. Once a month it happens, believe it or not. Kill 500 enemies. Simple. Do that on, like, a survival, obviously. Heavy Javelins, not amazing. Radial damage, 10th ability cast makes the next one free for yourself and allies. Weak point kills have a chance to generate universal orbs. Actually, I guess both of these aren't too shabby, but probably just grab that one or this one.
Stay focused. There's a heavy
yeah, maybe the
approaching.
universal orb. I don't know, man. 6,000 Kuba or Vosper? Probably the Kuba. Kill 200 tech raw with abilities. Brodia. Go man. And another Exilus Warframe adapter. Great. So I have 2 Exilus Warframe adapters. Okay, cool. Kill 500 enemies with melee. War Prime, go Burr. Arcane Enhancement or Endo? I go Endo. Espresso Shots increase energy restoration. That's probably what I'd grab. Armor or energy pickup increase range a bit. Kill 250 Scalds of troops with abilities. Brodia. Or whatever you choose. Atlas One Punch. Oh shit, Omniforma Blueprint at the very end. So, whatever you need, grab it. Omniforma, etc. and so forth. All the Archon Shards, right? It's actually a really good week, it looks like, for 99.90 seasonal weeklies. Now, we will go over to Iron Wake. Iron Wake is on Earth. It's pretty much where you spend ribbon slippers or just loot and ribbons. Once you spawn on down, fast travel over to Paladino, buy your Veiled Ribbon Cipher, your Ribbon Transmuters if you care about those, your random, oh god, a melee ribbon mod, and a random melee ribbon mod. Ooh, Requiem Ultimatums for Kuba Liches. If you need Requiems, but yeah. Kuba. Endo. Okay, so I have, how much Endo? I have a good chunk of Endo, but more so I have 2 million Kuba, so that makes me happy there. And then I have a ton of credits, and we'll slowly buy more, I guess, so. That is Iron Wake. It's really just one of those shops you go to every week, you buy it if you care. It's just weekly loot. You collect a lot of ribbon slippers if you play enough of the game. Just how it is. Next up, we have Bird 3 Archon Shards, as well as Elite Deep Archimedia over here, Deimos, Sanctum Anatomica. Once you spawn in, everybody, go on over to Bird 3, Shiny Treasures, Azure Archon Shard. Okay, so we get some blues and yellows so far, I think, this week. Well, and then, like, purple. Now, for Elite Archimedia, Mirror Defense into Alchemy into Exterminate. My personal ones are easy, except for energy rest, or energy decrease, but I do get to play as Protea, so maybe I'll just not care about Constricted and be a god. I think I'll do that. Mirror Defense, Alchemy, Exterminate. Security System requires twice as many Vosfian Glyphs, Mirror Defense. Slain enemies burst with point energy, and Rogue Culverins. Quick weapons that deal 5x damage to Overguard and Necromex. Okay, not bad. Alchemy. 10% of enemies are equipped with an impervious elemental barrier that can only be destroyed by an amphora of the corresponding element. Koi. All enemies have overgrowth equals 50% of max health. Enemy health slowly regenerates. That's not the worst. The annoying ones, the like alchemical invulnerability, though.
Stay focused.
Exterminate.
There's a heavy unit
They should
approaching.
rip into the mission, causing enemy level to go up by 1 every 10 seconds, destroying them to stop the level from further increasing. Okay. As rogue Arca cannons, oh god, I'm always bad with that name. Arca cannons,
Well done.
weird name.
Now
Charge
get to
attack,
extraction.
full warframes towards them. Allies within 4 meters of slain enemies, indoor reduced movement speed, parkour velocity. Yeah, see, overall not too shabby, too shitty, whatever. So that should hopefully be pretty easy. Maybe not. Okay, next up we will check out your boy Teshin on Earth Straight Out Relay. Oh yeah, I forgot. I added way more Roombas and way more roller floofs because of dog days to my back room. I relocated all of my ship Roombas, so hey, hopefully appreciate that. I think they're adorable, but I don't know why their AI is stupid and they all like run to the stairs here and then it's just like a traffic jam, so not sure what's going on there. Either way, we continue on to Steel Path Teshin's shop. He just drops like general good loot, so not bad, right? Like general good loot, not godly loot, but stuff that you want every week, right? Like arcane adapter type things. Arcanes, yeah. So Teshin, as always, over here and jump up here, and he goes Steel Path of Honors. We have 3x Forma this week. Oh, fuck yeah! And some Veiled Ribbon Ciphers as always, so that is the unique loot. Veiled Ribbon Cipher always, but hey, 3 times Forma. And you can always grab your secondary and primary arcane adapters. That's why these aren't rare. Once you unlock Steel Path, I could buy 115 right now. So, you know, kind of good to go. Either way, that's Teshin.
Attention! Now you can get AT&T wireless starting at $25 per month per line for 4 lines.
Huh?
Family group chat's gonna be on fire. Learn how to get 4 lines of AT&T wireless for $25 per month per line.
Ready.
15 right now. So, you know, kind of good to go. Either way, that's Teshin. After Teshin, we would want to take a look at Acrithis on the Zerman Dorma Zone. Acrithis is a character that has all of the loot for Duviri. Because of the Duviri event, the spider one, I can't remember what it's called. Shattered Web, maybe? No. Either way, because of the Duviri event, where we got to play Araxia and do that mission a lot, I collected a lot of Pathos Clamps again. But running low yet again, I only have 400 left. Here you can get Eggsless Weapon Adapters, which are actually pretty good to get, right? You can get Melee Ribbon Mod, Forma Blueprint. I would get the Melee Ribbon Mod if you need it. No need for a Forma Blueprint, though. You can get some Kuva, Morphix, Pistol, Ribbon Mod, Daily Arcanes, and as you can see, random, like, cosmetics, stuff like that. Just, like, cool-looking stuff. Oh, I don't have enough Pebbles. Dang. Just thought I'd buy that because I don't have it, but yeah, Acrithis just kind of has like, I don't know, random bullshit half the time. Like good loot and then random bullshit. Don't get me wrong. She can have insane weeks where she has like 3-4 good endgame type building up boosts, or she just has like more garbage. She's a gamble like in everything, but she's a better shop than Teshin overall, so yeah.
If I'm honest,
Lastly, Protoframe Kaya Velasco for Temporal Archimedia. We have the Hellscrub Skuldra, Tech Rod, Hellscrub Tech Rod. Legsite Harvest, into Exterminate. Tech Rod enemies attempt to melee attack Hellscrubbers, bursting on contact, increasing scrubber contamination by 33%. Okay. Allies within 4 meters of slain enemies endure reduced movement speed and parkour velocity. Cool. Elbron gas blankets level, enemies may drop filters that can provide temporary reprieve. That one's not bad. Legasite Harvest. 2 Legasites spawn each round, twice many captures are needed for success. All enemies have overgrowth equal to 50% of their max health, and slain enemies burst with void energy. I don't think those are that bad. Enemies take 9% less damage from non-weak point hits. Shit. Burmer enemies join ranks with Skuldra and the Techrot, and Techrot miasmites swarm out of the shadows throughout the mission. Okay. That is Temporal Archimedia Warframe 1999 stuff for this week. And I don't think it's anything too terrible. I have good Warframe setups. I love Nidus or Daggeth or Volt. Yep, not bad. Either way, hopefully everyone has a good week in Warframe. Not much going on until Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, we have like Warframe Dungeons and Dragons, Fables and Frontiers, right? New Warframe music, skins and stuff. So if anyone buys anything, Epic Games creator code PUBSCR, if you buy it on the Epic Games store, do support the channel. Check out all the socials, streams randomly, all that jazz. It's been a very busy week for me IRL this week, so sorry about that. I just regularly still shitpost online. But you know how that is, still other things to do. So I've been playing Fortnite on the PUBSCR FN YouTube channel, so check that out if you want. But again, I'll try to get back to making some guides, so if there's anything big you want, anything that you very, very much need, I don't know, let me know. I have a list of a lot of videos, and some
Thank you, Mr. PUBSCR. That helped. I hope y'all got everything you
find our
need.
target and bring them to the extraction
Whoa,
point.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Happy hunting.
whoa. Excuse me. Hold on 1 second. This is only what happens. Let's do this now. Secret cast members. No. Let me see something. Hold on. No.
The capture target has vital information that we will need to extract. We need our subject brought back alive.
Yeah, let's see what this is about.
Liquid IV is the hero I need today.
Something's coming. Something we may not be able
We may not be able to deter.
We shall be faced with an unthinkable decision.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Now that Spider-Man Brand New Day is out, the post-credit scene left a lot of questions about where Tom Holland's Spider-Man was exactly and where we're going to see him next in the MCU movies, because Avengers Doomsday is the next movie later this year, so people are wondering if he is going to be in the movie. Throwing some fuel on the fire, the Russos are even the ones that were behind that Spider-Man Brand New Day post-credit scene with the Spidey tracker. He wasn't part of Chairwatch, he hasn't been featured or referenced in any way in any of the Avengers Doomsday trailers we've seen so far, even the leaked Comic-Con footage, which was different from the last official trailer Marvel released, so we will break it all down. The post-credit scene was a big clue, but you also have to look at the Marvel Studios' legal contracts with Sony for sharing Spider-Man with the MCU movies, because it says exactly how many and which movies Spider-Man is going to appear in. Normally, lawyers ruin everything, but sometimes you can actually look at these contracts and they give you some detailed information about what's actually going on. Careful for spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day if you have not seen the movie yet. The movie ends with Spider-Man reintroducing himself to Ned Leeds, revealing his name is Peter, with them doing their handshake and then connecting the dots from earlier that this Peter is the same Peter that MJ just said was Spider-Man after all the Legos earlier in the movie. The idea being that they'll become best friends again and Ned will eventually become his man in the chair again. I know there's still a ton of questions about the details here, really important stuff. Whether or not Ned got his memories back because he has an affinity for magic, we will address that later. It's a totally different subject. MJ's memories too. Sadie thinks Jean Grey hops the bus to upstate New York to hide out until Avengers Secret Wars and the new X-Men 2028 movie when the expansion shows up in Westchester. I know there's also a lot of questions as to whether or not it already secretly exists in the MCU, and Professor X of the MCU has just secretly been hiding its location from everyone using his telepathy like he did with Krakoa in the newer X-Men comics. I'm in the middle of working on a new X-Men movie video because they just started announcing the actual cast for that. Like, we found out who the new Cyclops is going to be, the new version of Jean Grey, obviously Sadie Sink, the new version of Emma Frost, Samara Weaving. There's more characters that they'll announce in the next couple of days too, so I'm just waiting for them to announce a couple more of those cast members. For me, my X-Men. But this is it for all the characters in Brand New Day. Like, this is taking place right before the events of Avengers Doomsday. Yelena, for example, is still hanging out in a Russian bathhouse, having all the baths, and the events of the Thunderbolts post-credit scene have not happened yet. So they haven't detected the Fantastic Four ship yet, but they do know about the incursions because you talked about the crisis in space. Those are meant to be the big potatoes that she was joking about with Peter. During the post-credit scene, Ned's Spidey tracker detects Spider-Man in his apartment in Queens, but it says location unknown, despite it detecting him in Queens in the United States. Like, why would it say location unknown when it's showing him inside Queens? This is because it's detecting Spider-Man on a different Earth that's not registered in the GPS location tracking software of the Spidey tracker. Like, we don't know where this Earth is. The location data doesn't make sense with what the Spidey tracker normally has data on in terms of GPS. This is the first clue that Spider-Man is on somebody else's Earth in a 90 battle world of Avengers Secret Wars. I got a lot of questions about how the Spidey tracker works exactly. It uses basic GPS location data and known sightings of Spider-Man reported by other people that use the app through the app itself. So it relies on other people using the app. They post that they saw Spider-Man somewhere around town, maybe he's taking a villain down or web slinging across the city. Other people report sightings of him in the app across town, reflecting his data, so he's not moving around based on where everybody sees him.
Get out of here with that bullshit.
This would mean in that post-credit scene, at least one other person on this Earth is using the Spidey tracker. The movie also breaks the logic of how the Spidey tracker is supposed to work when it warps reality into Bifrost screens across a screen in outer space, and how powerful the app suddenly gets and is supposed to be. But in reality, it works just like a normal app. Like, Ned isn't like a hyper-genius, he's just like a normal, very smart person that created a regular app that he puts on the App Store that anybody can download and works like other apps. It's not meant to be that advanced. Marvel and Sony and the Russos are just messing with us, having fun with the bit, because the Russos also probably did this post-credit scene. They did all the recent post-credit scenes for the Marvel movies. They did the Fantastic Four post-credit scene with Dr. Doom on the set of Avengers Doomsday, because we will go to the Fantastic Four's Baxter Building during the events of Doomsday at some point. They also filmed the Thunderbolts post-credit scene on the Avengers Doomsday set, so that they probably did the same thing for the Spider-Man Brand New Day post-credit scene, and it wasn't Destin Daniel Cretton doing that Spidey tracker post-credit scene. It was the Russos. But the idea in that scene is that the Bifrost and the warping of reality and Spider-Man not moving to a location not on the planet in the middle of space are meant to show you two versions of Spider-Man being spotted by different people. So the app is just detecting this other version in outer space, unless you want to think that the Watcher is using the Spidey tracker and he's just detecting people all over space and time. The other way this works logically is if somebody on that spaceship where Spider-Man shows up in the middle of space is also using the Spidey tracker. It detects him, like, oh, there's a Spider-Man there, boom, put him on the Spidey tracker. But it's another version of Spider-Man, not the same Spider-Man. And I believe the idea is that we're watching the very end of Avengers Doomsday as Dr. Doom becomes a version of God Emperor Doom from the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars run, uses all of his power to collapse the multiverse into a single battle world filled with the remnants and survivors from the multiverse and everyone who didn't die during Avengers Doomsday. So it's showing us both the very end of Avengers Doomsday and the very first moments of Avengers Secret Wars after reality warps on screen and after Battle World comes into existence. And only for a hot second at the very end of the movie or in like a post-credit scene. You have to remember the Spider-Man Brand New Day filmed at the same time Avengers Doomsday was filming, and originally when they were filmed, Doomsday was planned to come out long before Brand New Day, and Brand New Day had always been planned and filmed to be on a version of 616 MCU Earth where Doomsday had not happened yet. Earth was still intact, and Yelena wasn't worried about the crisis in space from the Thunderbolts post-credit scene yet. So originally, Marvel was doing the same thing that they did with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Remember that movie came out right after Avengers Infinity War, the snap had happened, but the events of the movie took place before the end of Infinity War. Then at the very end of the movie, they sync things up with the actual snap itself. So the movies ended at the same time, but the movie itself, Ant-Man and the Wasp, took place earlier in the timeline. So I think this is what they were going to do with Brand New Day originally, when Doomsday was still coming out before the movie. So the Russos did that post-credit scene as a sort of stopgap measure to show the end of Avengers Doomsday and sync things up with things picking up in the first moments of Avengers Secret Wars. Which is the main reason why they couldn't use Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man as a main character during Avengers Doomsday, just because the timing didn't work out, the scheduling didn't work out. But here's the thing, Marvel does want some kind of Spider-Man in their Avengers movies. In the next piece of evidence, we'll see some references to Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Doomsday, like a short scene at the end of the movie or a post-credit scene, is the actual legal sharing contract that Marvel has with Sony for the character.
How was that not the right one?
Another
Wishes aren't fishes, and if my progenitor had wheels, well, she'd have been a wagon. I don't like having to do...
I created the world's lightest gold.
Biatch.
Slugs, right. The president of Sony revealed that their contracts have changed and now they're shorter term, so it just encompasses one solo Spider-Man movie in a couple of big crossover movies, which are typically Avengers movies for the MCU stuff.
Can we
He
talk
did say
about
that the
Mr.
Sony people
Carthos?
love the
I'm
deal
sure
and they
if
would
you just
continue
listened to
renewing
what
their
it's all
sharing deal
about,
with Marvel,
you'd see
but
it
it's
as
for much
such
shorter terms
wonderful,
of time than it was
perfect
previously.
ideas.
Like one big solo movie at a time in a
Yeah.
couple crossover movies, then they renew the deal again and again and again. So Marvel is probably in the process of locking down a deal for Spider-Man 5 if they haven't already. But remember the current sharing deal that's in place
Now,
right now. He
Mr.
has his
Carthos
solo
says
movie,
the
Spider-Man
sector's
Brand New Day.
mine,
We just
and that
saw
means
that. And
everyone
then he has
in
the
it.
crossover
Now
movies
you all
that
be double
Marvel is allowed to
shiny
use him
good,
in.
and I
So
won't ever
rewind to
have
the
to show
past.
you
Remember
my
how
new
Spider-Man was
face.
barely in Endgame. He just shows up
Oh,
for the very
kill his
final battle,
broad.
and then Iron Man's funeral and a tag scene back into school.
Oh,
Just
kill
a
his
couple
broad.
footage in that movie. And I think this is what the Russos are doing again this time with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. We'll see his version at the very end of Doomsday to show the transition where reality warps and people start waking up on Battleworld, and then he's a main character again during the whole movie for Avengers Secret Wars. Also that Marvel can use Spider-Man hype to get people into the theater as much as possible, because they're trying to stack the deck as much as possible in their favor so that Avengers Doomsday can earn all the money. They're pulling out every trick in their bag to try and get people to see the movie multiple times. And I think the idea is that Spider-Man fans who are just really hyped up to see his character show up will hear that he is in the movie somewhere, even if it's just the end of the movie, and still be much more excited to go see it, knowing that their favorite character is in that movie.
I thought I mentioned it with the taping Wednesday. Yeah, he had asked me over the weekend and sent me the question list for Wednesday's show.
They have just shut down all systems. I'm sending life support capsules your way. Life support incoming. I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time. Get ready for a capsule. Additional life support has arrived.
surprise, Marvel's doing all the Spider-Man baits to get your movie tickets for Avengers Doomsday. But here's the thing, that Marvel and Sony sharing contract also goes two ways. In exchange for the deal, in addition to Sony taking most of the theatrical profits and Marvel taking all the merchandising profits, everybody makes a lot of money. Marvel has to share at least one of its major MCU characters with Sony in their solo Spider-Man movies. Previously, this was them putting Iron Man in Homecoming, in Nick Fury in Far From Home, but in Brand New Day, Marvel let Sony have Jean Grey, the Hulk, Yelena Belova, and Punisher, a bunch of really big crossover characters. And I think Marvel gave them these extra characters because they wanted to use Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's versions of Spider-Man also in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, and Sony wanted a little extra cheese, so to speak, in exchange for using more versions of Spider-Man in the MCU movies that were part of their original sharing contract. Like, well, you know, we want some extra stuff now, can we give you some extra stuff in exchange for that?
How on out there? Clinically back to sugar-free hydration. Feels like a brand new day.
Come on, why don't another one come out? We need one more.
Reportedly, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man will appear in Doomsday early in the movie, and we'll see an incursion between his world and the X-Men's world, with the X-Men fighting Tobey and his Sinister Six characters. It'll be like the opening of Avengers Infinity War, where there's big fight and a whole bunch of characters get killed. And I think they want Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man to appear in Secret Wars. And my early theory is that he's the second Spider-Man that Ned's Spidey Tracker is detecting in that post-credit scene. So the next place we'll see Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU is at the very end of Avengers Doomsday as he watches reality warp around him, probably doing a number on his Spidey senses. My early theory is it will allow him to realize that Battleworld is different and reality has changed. Like, he'll know that it's different, and some characters won't know that things have changed because of the way Dr. Doom's magic works differently on different people. But this is the main reason why Tom Holland wasn't in Chair Watch. He's not in the Doomsday trailers that we've seen so far, because the Russos don't want to give away the very end of the movie, and he's only in the movie for a couple minutes, and they just want people to wonder, because of the post-credit scene, if he's going to be in this next movie and use this as like soft confirmation. Like, he'll be in a little bit, so you should come see just to double check and see what he's doing. And all the Avengers Doomsday trailers and the official marketing is just focusing on the people who will be main characters during the entire movie. But this is just the beginning, it's still early days. Now that Brand New Day is out, we'll probably see more Avengers Doomsday clips and trailers for the next couple of months. And we'll learn more about Secret Wars, which is supposed to be filming pretty soon. Vision Quest is the next big Marvel show later this year. It will also take place before Avengers Doomsday, but we'll see if they include references to Doomsday by the end of it, because it would be weird if White Vision or any of those characters like Billy and Tommy or even Scarlet Witch don't show up by Avengers Secret Wars. There's also a lot of theories that Scarlet Witch might be one of those mysterious lot-variant witches wearing the mask, because why would they be wearing masks if they don't want you to know who they are? Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below and all your Tom Holland Spider-Man conspiracy theories. But I just did a much bigger Spider-Man Brand New Day Easter egg video. Click here for all those, and click here for all my Avengers Doomsday Comic-Con panel videos with all that new footage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Should've waited. Damn, I should've waited. I shouldn't even wasted that. Because it came up, yep, there we go. It's right there. I should've waited. The Last House, Adam 22. The Laverian Witch Army, what the hell? What is this? I do not know. What is this? I do not know. Why is it not showing me what I'm trying to find? That's a month ago. Steinax. Let me see what they say about Steinax. try that?
Or just wonders, what do you think of the night? Oh, it's my fault. If I'd have done a better job of placing your hand in Mr. Corlitz's, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Did I have that there? I could have swore I had that in it.
Inclusive nem que seja para bonificar armas. Removendo a armadura com a segunda habilidade, mod de ampliação.
Oh boy, what the hell?
Sem mod de ampliação. Pode também matar.
Why am I getting Pujaji? I'm sorry, y'all, that's Portuguese.
Between Spider-Man Brand New Day having an incredible weekend.
All right, I wanted to make sure that was just a video. That wasn't my phone. Because one time my phone did that where it made all my YouTube videos come up in different languages all day. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Soma Prime? You talking about Soma Prime? Is he talking about Soma Prime? The worst type of Warframe players, that's funny. Not me, my friend. Not me. 6 hours ago, 14 of the most unexpected horror movie transformations. Oh, wait a minute. Retro games are about to get crazy expensive. What?
Well, it was bound.
Well, I mean, I already knew that was coming.
Knew it was.
That I knew. I've been trying to tell everybody.
Making sure you have a great transformation scene, but today I'm focusing
A great
on the
transformation?
most surprising, out of nowhere ones of the lot.
Now, I could have thought that I already picked this and put it in the position.
Coming. Louise Spring. Fellas, don't you just hate it when you meet a girl on holiday and she turns out to be a 2,000-year-old monster only interested in your sperm so she can have a baby and then devour its essence from inside her womb to replenish her everlasting youth? Well, this is exactly the situation
No, it wasn't. It was
when
this
he
one.
meets Louise in Italy. Of course, she doesn't immediately tell him about her unique predicament. I mean, it's something you might bring up on a third or fourth date, but certainly not the first.
I really don't want to waste another one, but you know what? I'm gonna use it. I kind of want to get this over with. Kill this bitch.
Transforming between different mutations on a regular basis. Most of these are unseen, but one time the audience is given a quick glimpse of this painful process, where Louise is seen writhing in agony, half human, half fish monster. Teresa Jack, the colour out of space. A lot of us have experienced family issues, but we should be grateful that we haven't had to deal with anything quite as traumatic as the Gardner family. That's because their house just happened to be right next to a fallen meteor, which pollutes the area with a supernatural colour. This colour has different effects depending on the family member. For instance, Nick Cage's Nathan just kinda turns into a deranged Trump impersonator, but Mother Teresa and son Jack suffer the worst fate. On account of the otherworldly phenomenon, their beings are suddenly fused together in a horrifying abomination that's part person, part monster. In a perverse way, though, it's absolutely the highlight of...
Eliminate all purpose threats.
Alright, this is so good. Let's go kill it. Biatch.
Nobody told you this. Not your teacher, not your dentist, not even the tooth fairy. But it's true. Once your teeth are gone, everyone says...
Get it.
Highlight of the movie. The creature is brought to life practically and serves both as a marvel of movie-making magic and a total nightmare creation that you don't want to look in the eye. Eventually, Teresa Jack is put out of its misery, but nothing tops its grand gross reveal. The demon, the Wailing. For much of the Wailing's 2.5-hour runtime, the audience is as clueless as the main characters, following a bumbling policeman trying to solve the mysterious murder sweeping his small town, which is seemingly caused by a virus or infection that is sending the population insane. The blame is placed on a Japanese drifter who's recently taken up residence in the woods. The police's hunch is all but confirmed when they visit his house, as photographs from the murder scene are hidden in one of his rooms. Later they're informed that he's a ghostly demon and not human at all, which absolutely checks out considering the circumstances. At the very end, the drifter reveals his true form to the audience, taunting a priest in the process. Under rags, he asks if the priest thinks he's the devil before unveiling his new horned, demented visage. It's teased perfectly in quick cuts and close-ups before you get the full shocking look at the demon's true nature. And his child, good riddance. If you haven't seen Good Manners, then apologies in advance, because there's no way to talk about its surprising transformation scene without spoiling the flick's biggest twist. This is a genre movie that switches gears massively halfway through. Initially, it's about housekeeper Clara, who forms a bond with her employer, the pregnant Anna. The two begin to grow closer, but Anna starts exhibiting some weird behavior every full moon. Her eyes start glowing, she gets a hankering for raw meat, and begins sleepwalking in the night. Her actions get stranger and stranger until one full moon when Clara stumbles upon a dead body with her stomach burst open from the inside out. In the room, she also finds a werewolf cub covered in blood, having clawed his way out of his own mother. The baby's transformation in the womb was what caused Anna to act so weird. She wasn't a werewolf, by the way, just impregnated by one, and seeing it for the first time and Anna's corpse is something you're completely not prepared for. The Siren VHS. Nobody really knew what to expect going into the original VHS. Fans knew it was a horror anthology, but the kind of stories being told on the scale of the budget was all unclear. Consequently, the very first segment, Amateur Night, shook everyone with its story about a bunch of sleazebags who bring a couple of girls back to their hotel room to film them having sex. One of the women is a little weird, but seemingly innocent enough. Quiet and shy, she takes a liking to one of the men, literally telling him, "I like you," over and over again. The two start having sex at the hotel, but when the other men try to get involved, she viciously attacks them. Her features begin to look different too. Suddenly she has fangs and nobody knows where they came from. After brutally murdering the other men and ripping their genitals off, she suddenly sprouts wings as well, revealing herself to be a succubus, and picks up the remaining man and takes them into the night. Now, you knew she was probably going to get her own back on the men in one form or another, but I don't think anybody expected her to be flying out of that hotel room. Everyone, house. This surreal slasher is difficult to put into words. On the one hand, it's a madcap slapstick comedy. On another, a gory horror. And on the final third hand, yep, House is weird enough to sprout more limbs than usual. It's a charming coming-of-age tale about a bunch of students visiting...
Oh, get out of here.
They're all eventually
You out of your
inside a
mind.
haunted home, with one being eaten by a piano, another a clock, and one possibly bottomless pool
He said eaten by a piano, I looked down and
There are
died.
a bunch of transformations thrown in there as well. One dude transforms into a bunch of bananas, one of the girls turns into a porcelain doll, and another, gorgeous, is transformed into her mother after putting on her wedding dress. Why? I'm still not sure, to be honest, but it somehow works. Deborah, the taking of Deborah Logan. In this found footage hidden gem, Deborah Logan is not having a good time. She has Alzheimer's disease, is being filmed 24/7 as the subject of a student documentary, and might even be possessed by a deadly snake demon to boot. Now, whether or not that last part is true is kept ambiguous for much of the movie, but it's eventually revealed that she's being controlled in order to complete a ritual. Not only that, but her body has also taken on a few new properties, which the viewer is given a brief glimpse of when we see Deborah, jaw completely unhinged and snake-like, attempting to swallow a young child whole. The moment itself comes out of nowhere, and despite being kinda goofy when slowed down and scrutinized, acts as an effective horror jump scare in the moment. You're not prepared to turn a corner and see that, is all I'm saying, and it makes you view Deborah's actions previously in the movie completely different.
Michael McCleary, The Beast Within. Granted, The Beast Within is a bit of a daft movie in and of itself, but this 1986 offering deserves immense credit for its practical effects work and for crafting one of the most intense transformation sequences ever seen. As The Beast Within opens, Eli and Caroline McCleary find themselves stranded in the middle of nowhere, and when Eli seeks help from a nearby gas station, his wife is sexually assaulted by a creature which impregnates her. Skipping ahead 17 years, the film then introduces us to Michael, the child who was conceived as a result of this horrendous incident. With Michael now having his own monstrous moments though, he's becoming possessed by the spirits of Billy Connors, who was the creature who attacked his mother. While we get glimpses of Michael's possession, it's during The Beast Within's second half that we witness a fantastic transformation scene. As the hospitalized Michael's head expands, it changes shape, and his appearance becomes something almost otherworldly. Evil Ed, Fright Night 1985. Tom Holland's Fright Night, no, not that Tom Holland, is an utter gem of the 1980s, managing to mix a sense of fun with a sense of genuine dread as young Charlie Brewster believes his new neighbor Jerry is a vampire. Of course, Charlie is actually 100% correct, but he has a tough job convincing anyone of this theory, including supposed vampire hunter Peter Vincent. As part of this adventure, Brewster's best pal Evil Ed falls under the powers of Jerry, being turned into a vampire and set upon Vincent. When Peter is attacked by a snarling wolf in Charlie's home, a scuffle between the two results in the animal being stabbed by a table leg and thrown to its death. And it's here where a shocking transformation takes place, as it's revealed that the wolf was Evil Ed. This was a shocker for how the usual transformation process was somewhat reversed, as we see Ed go through various forms as he reverts to his human guise. Friday Night famously features one or two more impressively notable transformations, mainly Charlie's girlfriend Amy, and Jerry's full vampiric form.
You do bad, you put money in the bag jar. I'm gonna get Mr. Private something nice.
Decide to throw a party in a funeral home, yeah. And if that wasn't dumb enough, then
sure
the group also opted to carry out a seance as part of their fun.
Did.
If I'm honest, I've been following you. Look what I got! A sector! Oh, it's perfect, perfect, perfect!
A lone TENNO operative is raiding this ship for supplies. You are here to distract the enemy. Trigger the alarm. They have just shut down all systems. I'm sending life support capsules your way.
Lack of honor has brought this upon you.
TENNO, prepare for life support. I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time. Life support on the way. Additional life support has arrived.
Wishes aren't fishes, and if my progenitor had wheels, well, she'd have been a wagon.
When you need it, extraction is ready. TENNO, extraction is ready.
There you are. There's my cheeky sweetie. Why would you be so mean? Don't you tell me you love me. I don't care how bad you want to live. Oh my, you just worked her right over, didn't you? Now you keep those tickle sticks of yours where I can see them. And maybe this doesn't end with me having to spread you out like a map.
Sister, we honor you with promotion to the highest rank.
Well, my goodness. I feel powerful. Mr. Parvo, sir, this must be how you feel every single morning. I'm gonna be such a good sister, sir. Oh, yes, I am. Better than all those other duties you surround yourself with. Better than that Vala. Oh,
You'll see. I'll be the only sister you'll need.
Harvest Granum, your sacred tokens shall remain secure from the grasp of the idol.
Mission complete. Excellent work, TENNO.
Nobody likes a pokey pobber. You quit poking around my affairs, and I won't have to poke out those pretty peepers of yours.
Otis went mad for 3 milliseconds when he realized that each time he cleans something, he makes something else dirty. Ah! There I go again.
Alright, sorry about that. Had to take a little intermission break. Woo! So, well deserved. I needed that for a second. I had to take care of a few things and get myself back together. Get me something to drink because your boy was suffering from the glue mouth. Let me see. I was looking for something, but I can't find it. I cannot find it. Oh no. 50 as of 57 minutes ago? That can't be true. I'm not even gonna look at that. Arcanes. Let's see something. Let's listen about arcanes. Let's see what they gotta say about arcanes.
Today we're going to be talking about arcanes. Now this is going to be like the ultimate arcane guide. I'm talking going over everything, what they are, why they're good, how to get them, what are the best arcanes, and also what makes them so good for platinum.
What time is it? 9:30.
Are an
You're
integral
good
part of Warframe. Everyone wants them and everyone needs them. They can make builds infinitely better, or they can make or break some of your builds.
That happened.
We have around 160 arcanes in Warframe to use, and only a bunch of them are actually worth getting outside of a few niche use cases. So, what
well, at least we know what it
those of
is.
you that have absolutely no idea? They are like Warframe's power-ups in a sense. You can place arcanes on Warframes, weapons,
At least we know that if we do this,
there are so many different use
it's
cases
a
for
win.
them or where you can put them on. Very quickly, I'm going to explain the mechanics of them so you get
And I hate to have to use my last one, but fuck it, I'm gonna have to use my last one.
in order for you to max rank an arcane. Most of them require 21
she's not annoyed, is
duplicates
she?
or 21
Nope,
rank 0
different.
arcanes in order to fully max rank them, which will then give you the best or the most from that arcane. It is important for you to max rank as many arcanes as possible because once you have them, any duplicates that you get, you can sell for platinum or you can use it for gambling, which we'll get into later on in the video. That's pretty much a nutshell. Some arcanes also have lower levels. For example, your heat gun arcanes and your amp arcanes only require 10 duplicates, but for the most part, most arcanes require 21 in order to get a max rank. You can also slowly level them up as you begin to farm your duplicates. They are incredibly useful and incredibly important in Warframe because they can make a huge difference to your builds, and they are something that everyone should
on a
aim
capture
to get.
mission.
Now, how do we farm these things? Well, there are 3 ways to obtain arcanes. Number 1 is doing the actual content where you can farm them, like missions, or killing certain enemies that drop arcanes, and that's how you kind of slowly farm them. Option number 2 is some arcanes that are tied to certain pieces of content have a pity system tied to it that you can then go to a vendor and exchange that specific resource in order to get your arcanes. But either way, with the system you still have to farm number 1, which is doing the actual content and missions. It just helps you. Number 3 is arcane distortion, which we'll be going over later on. This is Warframe's gambling mechanic, which is incredibly handy if you want to get your arcanes. By the way, technically speaking, number 4, you can buy it from other players with a platinum value if you want to do that, but that is up to you. Some arcanes are worth buying for platinum. I'm going to be honest with you guys, some of the farms are absolutely horrific, but that is up for you to decide, not for me to tell you what to do. I'm going to now list all the arcanes that I feel that you should have. Please bear in mind that it is not limited to these ones that I'm about to mention. I do encourage that you farm every single arcane eventually over a long time, and then you kind of sell the duplicates. If you don't want to farm them to the content itself and you just don't feel like doing it, then I recommend you either stick towards the arcane dissolution section or you buy it from another player with platinum. That is up to you. Okay, we have 160 arcanes around there. I'm going to mention about 60 of them now. I'm going to go over warframes, primary weapons, secondaries, all the way to amps, operators, and more. I'm going to very quickly show you where you can get them. I'm going to divide them by the different content places and explain briefly how to get them. I'm also going to very briefly brush over what each arcane does, because if I have to go over 60 arcanes, then I think we're going to be sitting here for a few hours, so we don't want to do that. Let's begin with Warframe arcanes, the ones that I feel are the most important to get. Starting off with Eidolon hunting. I'm sure many of you know that there are a lot of arcanes that are tied to Eidolon hunts. They are incredibly important.
Damn, I want to use my last one.
I use a lot of these arcanes. Number one is Arcane Consequence. This is purely for a quality of life feature, increasing your bark velocity, allowing you to move a hell of a lot faster. It is very, very handy to use at all levels. Arcane Acceleration, very good for increasing your fire rate, definitely worth it. Arcane Guardian, if you're going for a health tanking build and you want some extra armor, Arcane Guardian is huge. Arcane Aegis is absolutely amazing for shield gating or shield tanking builds, because you just do not die. You can even get a rank 0 Arcane Aegis and you'll be fine, so you don't need to max this one out. Arcane Velocity increases your fire rate of your secondaries, very, very good. Arcane Arachne provides a huge damage boost that is sometimes global, if that makes sense, but it's pretty useful in some cases for niche synergies later on. Arcane Avenger, a flat 45% critical chance for all of your builds and weapons, very powerful, definitely worth getting. Arcane Fury, very good for melee attack damage if you want to increase that. Same with Arcane Rage, this increases your primary attack damage. And then of course, if you would like to, you can go for the rare arcanes, and that is Arcane Energize, Grace, and Barrier. That is entirely up to you. I find that I don't use them as much anymore, but they are still useful in some cases. Next up is Arbitration. This can be found by doing arbitrations, or you can exchange Vitus Essence at the arbitration vendor in any relay. I'll be honest, the only one I recommend here is Arcane Pistolier. This allows you to have infinite ammo for your secondaries. It is amazing. I love this arcane. Next one is the Zaraman. When you unlock this area, if you go through the missions or you go through Caballero, the vendor, you can get multi-augmented and multi-efficiency. Absolutely amazing arcanes, more specifically multi-augmented, but they are huge. I do recommend you get that for that extra ability strength. Efficiency is extra ability duration. Conjunction survival, yeah, you can farm the survival mission, or you can go to Archimedia Yonta in Zaraman as well and get Arcane Blessing. Very good if you want to go for a health tanking setup. Mirror defense, yeah, you can go to Otak and the Necrolisk. I'd recommend you get Arcane Steadfast, but that is a bit of a niche one. Still very good though. Next is Deviri. You can get these arcanes from the missions, or Akrithis in the Dormy Zone. Yeah, I would recommend Arcane Reaper if you want to go for a more melee-based build. Recommend Arcane Reaper if you want to go for a more melee-based build. Next is the Ascension game mode, which you can actually get the arcanes from Ordis or the Ascension game mode itself, but Ordis moves unless it's in an event, which we've just actually missed out on. The Belly of the Beast event is just finished. Either way, if you cannot get it through this way and you want to get these two, which I do recommend, I recommend that you buy them for Platinum. Arcane Battery and Ice Storm is huge. These two are absolutely amazing arcanes. Next up is Holvania. You can get it through the missions or the bounties, or you can buy it from Eleanor or Kaya. Honestly, all the arcanes here. Bellicose, Arcane Camisado, Arcane Crepuscular is huge for that invis and extra crit damage. Arcane Impetus for warframes that can apply a bunch of status effects. Arcane Truculence for overguard-based frames for a huge viral spreader. Arcane Hotshot, one of the most used crit increasing arcanes that we have. And then Arcane Universal Fallout for radiation-based warframes. Very, very good arcanes.
Intel that somebody vital to enemy operations is here. Find them and capture them.
Descendia's arcanes are huge. Like, you guys have to get these ones as well. Yeah, you can get them from completing the Descendia weekly game mode, or you can go to Rose in the Sector Anatomica, and then, of course, exchange your Massacre. Arcane Circumvent is like one of the best things that has been added to the game in terms of increasing your survivability and making any warframe tanky. Arcane Concentration is absolutely a godsend. It is amazing, increasing your ability duration, huge for caster-based frames or warframes that scale with duration. Arcane Expertise is also very good if you want to scale a huge shield tanking build. Arcane Persistence is also very nice if you want to be a lot tankier but you sacrifice your shield. Good for hull tanking frames too. Okay, that is all the Warframe arcanes that I recommend that you get. It's a lot, I know, but there's a hell of a lot more, so stick with me and stay along. We're going to follow the same framework like we did for Warframes, I'm going to go over each and every different piece of content and explain them briefly. First is the Steel Path arcades. Incredibly important. Everyone should have these because you're going to get this from the Steel Path acolytes, primary deadhead, primary dexterity, and primary merciless. Great arcades to increase your base damage in Steel Path. Staples, definitely worth getting. In the Teferi section, you can get longbow sharp shot for bows that provide a multiplicative damage bonus. Shotgun Vendetta for shotguns is like one of my favorite arcanes when it comes to shotguns because it just fits so well with these weapons. Extra multi-shot and extra reload speed, brilliant arcane. Primary Blight with toxin bolts is also very, very good. Next is Sylvania. Primary Crux. You guys gotta get that. Like, Primary Crux is one of the best arcanes in the game. I use it for every single weapon basically. Increases your ammo efficiency and gives you a huge amount of status chance. I love this arcane. Next is Descendia. Yeah, you will get Primary Bulwark and Primary Debilitate. Also very good arcanes and definitely worth getting. You can also get Primary Overcharge from here, but it is a little bit niche. If I'm being honest, only specific Warframes work. Alright, let's talk about our secondary arcanes now. Mostly, very quickly, Steel Path arcanes, acolytes, same thing. Secondary Deadhead, secondary Dexterity, and secondary Merciless are a must-have. Then we move to the Zaramon. Getting Cascadia Flare from Caballero is huge and very, very nice for secondary weapons if you're scaling heat. Conjunction Survival, which allows you to get Conjunction Voltage, and you can also get this from eviljuntao. Again, this is a very, very good arcane for if you go for electricity damage on your secondary. It's quite nice. Next is Mirror Defense. Yeah, we will get secondary Encumber, absolutely worth it, and yeah, it's very, very powerful. You can also get secondary Encumber via the Nightcap bounties and Fortuna as well if you rank up the standing. That's also a good idea. Secondary Encumber is huge for secondary weapons that are status based. Next is Ascension. Again, secondary Fortify, huge Steel Path arcane, or just arcane in general if you're going against overguarded enemies, and great for survivability. Mulvania, secondary Innovate. I'm pretty sure I use this for nearly every single secondary that I have. Like, an Innovate is one of the most important arcanes to get for secondary weapons. Then I did want to mention Descendia for secondary Irradiate. It's niche, but it's very good if you can get maximum radiation procs and just get that satisfying gameplay. Other than that, it's not too much of a worry. Moving on to melee weapons now. Here we will get mostly melee arcanes through Sanctum and Atomica. You can get these arcanes from Bird 3 or running our missions and EDA for this one, or Ninja Cells. Getting melee exposure for that extra corrosive damage is massive. Melee influence, I mean, do I need to tell you why you need melee influence? It's like the most broken melee arcane in the game, and allows you to roam nuke in an instant. Melee Vortex, which allows you to pull enemies in, is great. Melee Duplicate if you're not going for red crits, and Melee Crescendo if you're going for combo-based builds. Very, very good if you like that type of thing and you want to go max combo duration with combo counter. Next is the Ascension game mode for Afflictions. It's a must-have, like my favorite melee arcane. This thing allows you to do stupid amounts of damage, increasing the amount of status effects that you do when you lift enemies and so on. Such a powerful arcane. From Mulvania, you can actually get melee dirty as well. This is pretty good if you're going for puncher-based weapons, and you can increase your damage quite a lot. Descendia has melee Kareen, absolutely amazing for utility-based melees, or just if you're not using a melee at all, having melee Kareen on allows you to freeze enemies every time you roll. It is such a nice arcane to have. I highly recommend you get it. Okay, that covers our melee arcanes. For kit guns, if you want to go that route, Pax Charge and Pax Seeker are the best arcanes to go for. You can get these via Root Zood in Fortuna, and if you do want to go for the kit guns, you want to dive into there, I'd recommend you check those two arcanes out, because then you have infinite ammo and you have a mini breach surge, which can scale to ridiculous amounts of damage. If you want to go for Saws, I would only recommend Exodia Contagion from my experience. This is only found through events, so you have to buy it from another player until another event comes through. Now let's talk about Operators and Amps. Operators and Amps are incredibly important in Warframe, and having the arcanes makes them a hell of a lot better. In fact, it carries them. So let's talk about the Quills. This is found by This is found by Onco in Cetus. Here I would recommend that you go and get Magus Elevate. or void cascade or anything that increases the range of your void sling and allows you to destroy crates and so on, it's massive. Virtuous Shadow is also very good, and Virtuous Strike is also very good, especially if you're someone that is not too far in the game or you haven't leveled up with Little Duck in Fortuna, which we're about to go over. I'd recommend that you start with these. That of course leads me onto the Vox Solaris, which is Little Duck in Fortuna. Here I would recommend that you get Magus Lockdown to sometimes stun enemies, or Magus Anomaly to pull enemies in if you don't have a pull mechanic and you just want to spam in and out of your operator, and then Magus Repair for you to get more health for your Warframe, although I generally just use Magus Elevate. I've switched to that. Then let's talk about the Zaramon for Amp Arcanes. I would say Eternal Eradicate and Eternal Onslaught. This increases your base damage and increases your crit chance for your amp. It is huge. Highly recommend that you give it a try. Then we have the new Tectilist Artifacts, or the new Tectilist Arcanes, which is found via Parita Rebellion or Marie in the Cathedral. I was trying to think of the word there. I would recommend that you get all of the Tectilist Arcanes, to be honest with you, or just farm the Parita Rebellion because it's worth it. They're pretty good for the operators and so on. We just went over so many Arcanes. Now, like I said to you in the beginning, I didn't want to go too much into each of these because then we're going to be talking forever, but these are the main Arcanes that I recommend that you get. Anything else you want to get, go ahead and try. I encourage you to do it because I like to do that, and I think it's good that you do that. Now, I've spoken about what Arcanes are, what are the best ones, how to get them, and so on. Let's talk about the other side of Arcanes, and this is the second part of this whole guide, which is Arcane farming in order to get the most amount of shmoney. Shmoney is great in Warframe. Before I go into this section, I do recommend that you try to get at least one copy of everything over a long period of time, so that allows you to eventually just keep reselling or selling your duplicates after that and not have to worry about, oh, you actually need it. Arcanes can also be extremely profitable. Depending on how hard they are to farm, they can also be quite expensive in terms of platinum value. So if you're someone who wants to make lots and lots of platinum, if you're willing to go and do the dirty work, you can actually be or make a lot of platinum via farming them. So there is that side of you making lots of platinum by selling Arcanes just as a raw value. The other side of it is Arcane Dissolution. Arcane Dissolution was added into the game. You can find it via Lloyd in the Sanctum Anatomica. This is like a giant gamble mechanic. What DE has done is they've added all the different Arcanes as packs under certain types of content, and you can farm something called Phosphor, and every time you get 200 Phosphor, you can then open up a pack and hopefully get good Arcanes. Now it's important to understand how and when you should use Arcane Dissolution. In order for you to open a pack, you need Phosphor, which I've just mentioned. Phosphor is obtained via dissolving your random or very cheap Arcanes or whatever duplicates that you have available to you, and then you can get a bunch of Phosphor and then you can open a pack. It costs a whole lot of credits and 200 Phosphor per pack. Be warned about the credit cost though, because they can actually melt your credit amount, so if you do not have a good credit farm set up, be careful because you can run out of credits quite quickly. I'd recommend you do Index, Profit Taker, or you do Mulvaney Bounties for credit farm. It is incredibly important that you check and you make sure what the value of the Arcanes are that you're about to dissolve, because you don't want to dissolve an Arcane that you have that is way more expensive in platinum value, and you just dissolve it for a bunch of Phosphor and now you can't sell it. Arcane Dissolution can be used for two things. One, to sell, or two, to actually get the Arcanes that you specifically need and you just don't feel like farming the specific content. That's the upside of it. But we're going to be talking about what happens when you want to actually farm as much Phosphor as possible and then sell it for a profit. So before we go into the Arcane farms, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to farm as many Arcane duplicates as possible so that we can dissolve them and then just gamble our life away and hope that we get a profit. That's pretty much the goal that we're going for. Please, I just want to make this clear. Do your own research and make sure to price each Arcane before you go crazy and just dissolve everything and try and roll it, because then you're going to be quite upset. Just make sure that you know that you're coming out with a profit if you get certain Arcanes and if you dissolve certain Arcanes. Alright, it's important to know that when it comes to farming Arcanes, they're actually affected by mod chance boosters. Mod chance boosters are rare, but they've also never been easier to get in this game. You can get them from events, you can get them from Barra, you can get them from the
Fight well, sister.
you can get them
Parvo
from
sends
Fury.
you
There are a
guardian
bunch of places now that you
Turn
can
the
farm.
strength of the
But when
TENNO
you get a
back
Marchion's
against
booster,
them.
it's best to go into missions where enemies
This
can
must
drop
now
arcanes
be your
in their
final
loot or
stand,
reward pool,
sister.
and that Marchion's booster will increase that likelihood. So let's start off with the absolute best arcane farm. Yep, that's correct. We're starting off with the best one. I'm not going to make you wait. It's Void Cascade. Void Cascade is absolutely S tier. If you have a Marchion's booster as well, even without it, but Marchion's booster makes it the best of the best. The reason for this is Void Cascade has a bunch of Thraxes. These enemies, when they die, have a chance of dropping arcanes. All of the arcanes that are actually tied to Cavalera in the Zarum. If you have a Marchion's booster, these drop quite frequently, to put it that way. You can opt for an Omnia Fisher as well, but it might slow you down a little bit. Otherwise, just base Void Cascade and scaling to level cap as well is...
Spectres, stand by my sister and shield her from all harm. Your guards have fallen. If you too must fall, exit a grievous price.
Don't touch what you can't afford, your microcephalic rock. Sure, I'll fight you one-on-one. If I'd left my brain in the closet, that'd sense, buddy.
You're down a little bit. Otherwise, just base Void Cascade and scaling to level cap as well is the best farm for arcanes. It always is, and I don't know if there's one that's going to replace it. I am slowly starting to play Void Cascade again. I don't know if I'm going to make another guide. It is a big boy if I do, but I am considering it, but I'm not there yet. Point is, Void Cascade is definitely the best farm for you to do to get a bunch of arcanes. The next farm is Descendia with Mathika and exchanging with Road. Especially when we have that one treasure room in a week rotation that we can grind for and get a bunch of Mathika, and then you can hand it in with Road, and then you can actually just get a bunch of arcanes. The only thing about this farm is that you're just farming Mathika and you're just getting arcanes.
I shall
You're
not
getting
lose
anything else
another
with
of
it.
my
So if you're just
sisters.
focusing on that, then
Spectres
this is
destroyed.
very, very good.
She
Next
has
is
only
Conjunction
herself
Survival
now.
with the Thraxes dropping arcanes and handing it into Arcadian Yonta. If you get the Lure Thrax Plasms, that's also another option. So forming the mission itself will get the Thraxes to spawn every 5 minutes, and also we have the speed up mechanic now, and of course we have the Blitty currency as well that we can use to get the arcanes from Arcadian Yonta. One other farm that I would like to mention is the Nightcap bounties. They're actually not bad either, especially if you have a team that's quite quick. You can get quite a few arcanes from this, especially from bounty rewards and so on. Honestly, not a bad farm for arcanes. Another one is Holvania as well. Holvania is not a bad option if you want to farm arcanes too. You also have the usuals as you go about your Steel Path gameplay. You're going to find Steel Path acolytes. They're going to give you arcanes every time you kill them, which is great for duplicate farming and phosphor farming. We have now gone over the profitable side of arcanes. We've gone over everything that you need to know there. Now it's up to you to figure out what arcanes you would like to farm, what are the most profitable, what you would like to do with them, and what you would like to gamble for. Overall, arcanes are incredibly important in this game. Everyone needs them. They are so amazing, and there are a lot of them. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something.
I've already won.
TENNO. Voice log. To ease the absence of psychological support, I have begun a friendly discourse with our shipboard Sephiroth. I genuinely think he likes me.
On Prime Day. Because we're giving you this for free when you buy carpet. You're gonna get these Grooms Gut gummies. 4 sticks of your choice. Oh no! And Under Armour.
Amps are an extremely important part of Warframe. They are niche and only really used in a few cases, but those cases are pretty important. Like Eidolon hunting, Thraxes in Void Cascade, among a few other things. With the Old Piece update, we have received a significant buff to amps because of the Tectivus artifacts, and because of that, I think it's time to do a fully updated amp guide going over everything you need to know. Let's start with how do we get them. You need to complete the War Within questline. You gain access to the Moat amp. This amp is not that good, but it is a starter amp to be fair.